Hello everyone, and welcome to the Manifesting House, where we discuss easy, effective methods you'll want to commit to. I am so excited to share today's success stories with you. The topic today is manifesting SPs who were once strangers or on no contact terms. What I mean is, you'll hear a few stories where the deliberate creators are essentially non-existent to their SPs, and yet, through the use of their techniques, they manifested their specific people. Just a heads up, in the final story, the specific person was sorta kinda famous, or at least well-known in his field, and yet he was still manifested by a girl who was basically unknown. It's a super inspiring story. And without further delay, here are your stories. I manifested my specific person, but she wasn't right for me. Here's the thing. Yes, you can manifest a specific person. However, it's extremely dangerous, so be very cautious if you do. I have personally manifested the girl of my dreams, and this was someone I didn't even know. We worked at the same job, but we both worked in different departments and we had no interactions at work. Every day for months, I would visualize being with this girl, especially before falling asleep and after waking up. Then, one day, it was her birthday, so I decided I was just going to email her, as I had acquired her email address months earlier, and I decided I would just say happy birthday, even though she had absolutely no idea who I was. After that, we became friends, and soon after, we became lovers. With that being said, upon meeting her, she told me that she had a fiancé, and that he was very well off financially. In fact, he was a millionaire. They even lived in a $1.5 million home together. I was devastated, but by this point, it was too late to turn back. I had focused so heavily on this specific person instead of the right person that honestly, I just didn't care if she had a fiancé because she was my dream girl. During the course of our affair, there was one thing she told me that has always stuck with me. When I asked her about how she decided that she wanted to be with me, she said, "Something just came over me and possessed me with the motivation to be with you." I know, that was the universe at work. To make a long story short, she never left her millionaire fiancé. At first, I didn't care if she was taken. I was just happy to be in her presence. But then the unexpected happened. I started to fall in love with her, and then when that happened, I became extremely jealous of the other guy to the point where it consumed me. After that relationship or affair ended, I had relations with several women hoping that these experiences would eradicate the feelings I had for her, but nothing worked. The specific person I manifested was delivered. The universe did answer my prayers. My assumptions were fulfilled. However, she was the person I wanted, not the person that I needed. I was depressed for years after this, and I vowed to never channel my energy in manifesting a specific person, only the right person. So be wary. Just because you can manifest a specific person doesn't mean they're going to be the person you truly need in your life. Leave it to the universe to align you with the person you were destined to be with. I manifested my love of 2 years. It feels like a dream to be sharing this story, but yes, I manifested a specific person, and it was much quicker than I ever thought possible. You see, I've been in love with a guy for almost 2 years now, but we were only friends from the beginning, until a few months ago when he randomly stopped talking to me and he basically just cut me off. At the time, I wasn't sure why. So, with this new development, I gave up on him. But then I started feeling a lot of, feelings for him again, and I decided I should just go for it. This was only 2 months ago, and I did not know about LOA. So I had a tarot reading done for me in which the tarot is basically said, give up. He's not into you and he's not willing to be with you. Of course, these weren't her exact words, but this was the gist of her interpretation of my situation. Needless to say, I was frustrated and almost discouraged. Thankfully, I'm more stubborn than I thought, so I still decided to go for it. There was a period there where I almost considered caving and just confessing to him my feelings, but ultimately I decided not to. Instead, I wanted him to be the one to tell me that he was in love with me, even though I had never seen any signals from him. When I started hearing about LOA, I got even more confused by the amount of information, but I simplified it as much as I could by trying the main 3 things. Number 1, keeping a good mood as if I was already in the end. Number 2, visualizing whenever possible. And number 3, just cutting off bad thoughts. Another random thing I did was I made a list in a notebook of everything I once wanted that the universe eventually gave me. I did this so I wouldn't doubt the LOA, and whenever I caught myself thinking doubtful thoughts, I could just flip to this entry in my notebook and reassure myself. There was no routine. Every time I had a bad thought or even the slightest doubt, I would just shift the thought and start thinking, he is mine, he loves me a lot. Why should I even worry? He already loves me so much. Every now and then I would also close my eyes for a few seconds or minutes and visualize a text message coming up in which he would admit that he was in love with me. I'd visualize the cell phone in my hand, the text popping up with his name, and I let my body feel as if it had really happened. Meaning, in that moment, I would feel immensely loved by him. As we weren't on speaking terms, I never called or texted him during this period because I simply knew he was going to come back to me. I chose to just be quiet and let the universe work on what I wanted. Well, 2 months have passed since I began practicing the visualizations, and yesterday night I woke up to a text from him saying he had to admit that he loves me and he wants to be with me, that he didn't want to begin anything because of our distance in that moment and he was very afraid, but that he simply couldn't keep it to himself anymore, and he had decided to tell me everything, including why he left and how he truly feels about me. So basically, I am finally living in the end of what I visualized and felt so much. If I could offer you a word of advice, please let me do so. Do not stop believing, and do not let your mind tell you that you cannot manifest whatever that thing is. I promise you it is possible. Whatever you want to manifest is possible for you. My SP was sort of famous. I'm sharing my story mainly because there are many people who still don't believe it's possible to manifest a specific person, let alone a person who doesn't currently know you even exist. These could be complete strangers to celebrities and public figures. My story starts like this. One day, while mindlessly scrolling on my Instagram feed, I saw some random posts of a competition for a sport that I love. In one of these posts, there was a super handsome guy that caught my attention. Apparently, he had won first place. With no real attachment to the subject matter, I just spent some time, probably just a few minutes, visualizing myself and him engaging in a very flirty conversation. This felt really good, and shortly after I lost focus, I just completely forgot about my wish because he lived in a different country. Again, I didn't really have a need for this specific person to manifest. But the next day, he followed me on Instagram, just randomly out of the blue. I had never had a famous person follow me on Instagram before, so this was really strange. What's more is he sent me a DM and we actually had a conversation. It wasn't as flirty as I had fantasized, but hey, who's to say that this manifestation isn't already on its way. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. I truly do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I trust you will give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more content just like this one. How did you like today's success stories? I personally loved all of them, especially that first one, because it's really interesting how you can get something that you've always wanted and then it just doesn't turn out to be exactly what you thought you wanted. That's kind of like that old parable, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. That's something that we kind of forget when manifesting specific people. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Toodles.